昨年のドジャースとカブスによる東京開幕シリーズを描いたドキュメンタリー映画ホームカミング・ザ・東京シリーズを監督したジェイソン・スターマン氏が米専門局 MLB ネットワークの番組ホットストーブに出演。番組では作品の内容を語るとともに日本来日で感じた大谷選手の存在感について言及。さらに監督が何よりも衝撃を受けたのは大谷選手の人柄や価値観、プレーに対する姿勢の根底に日本の文化や教育が深く息づいていることでした。この見どころたっぷりの内容を日本語字幕付きでご紹介しますので、ぜひ最後までご覧ください。
Congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
I want to mention it is coming to theaters next week, February 23rd and 24th. It deals with the Tokyo series last year between the Dodgers and the Cubs. And we were talking during the break. Is it almost like a love letter to Japanese baseball? Is that kind of the texture of this film?
It kind of worked out that way because ultimately we used the Tokyo series as kind of like our reason to go and like tell the story. But what we ultimately found was other characters, other places to go beyond just Tokyo, and it really explored Japanese baseball culture throughout the entire country, but seeing it through, a lens, especially from my POV, being an American and going and experiencing it. It's something that's very familiar because obviously baseball is the unifying sport.
Right.
But it gave us an ability of obviously seeing it from the way that they approach it.
So Jason, I mean, this couldn't have landed any better with Ohtani going back to Japan. You got Yamamoto, you had Sasaki just signed. You had all the things the Dodgers had basically lined up perfectly for this tour. And did that help with solidifying, yes, we're doing the right thing?
The main thing that was like the interesting entry point is the second you get off the plane, like we flew in from LA, right? So it's like we got into the car. They know that like your plane landed from LA. I don't speak Japanese. The driver doesn't speak English, but there was this unifying thing of like LA, and we're like, yeah, and it's like Ohtani, and we're like Ohtani, and it's like Ohtani, and that became in a way like almost like the easy translation. So from the second we got there, it felt like that we were gonna be on the right path to discovering something.
You mentioned Japanese baseball culture, and they consume the game differently than we do. How would you elaborate on that?
Well, I think there's a consumption of the game from an in-stadium standpoint, and
Yes.
I think the closest way that you can almost see the way that they approach watching the game of baseball is the way we would see college sports, right? It's like there's
football.
College football especially, like there's rituals, there's cheering, there's bands in the crowd, there's a cheer for a player when he gets on base, there's a cheer for a player when he gets struck out. Like all of those things are designed to help, I think, motivate the players, but it also motivates themselves, which is something that is very unique.
Plus, the other thing too is they mix in a lot of Japanese culture in sitting in the stands. I mean, I sat in the stands with my family, and we're sitting there ordering sushi during the game with chopsticks. It was amazing. So what about and then the other thing that stood out to me, and I'll come back to my question, was every commercial was Ohtani. I mean, he had like 15 commercials. It was unbelievable. So tell me about those two things. I'm wrapping into a question.
He's unavoidable, right? So no matter what, it's like we think we see him a lot here. He's on every single billboard. He's on every single taxi, everywhere you look. So it's not like this thing where he left Japan, came here, and they forgot about him. He very much is I would say he's like the Taylor Swift of Japan.
Big time. Now, what about a Cub fan? What would the Cubs fan get out of this?
So the interesting thing is that like the Cubs, we were integrated with them as well. So obviously they have Shota, they have Seiya. When you see the film, it's like we plugged in with them. They went to a local elementary school. Clark the Cub went. They brought Derek Lee. They brought Fukudome. So it's like there is a history of Japanese baseball players in Chicago. There's a history of Chicago fans being in Japan. So it is this interesting thing because the Dodgers do feel like such a behemoth there. But at the same time, also, it's like there are Yu Darvish fans. There are Shota and Seiya fans. There's going to now be White Sox fans. Like it's showing how the game is kind of growing.
The other thing, real quick, Robert, I want to throw this back to his memory, and I'm wondering if you captured it. I'm sure you guys probably did. But what about when all the Japanese players from the Dodgers and the Cubs went and took the family picture together? What a moment. Tell them about that.
You get to experience it because I think the ultimate thing is they are all there for the same reason, which is they're playing the game and they're taking the game from where they came from and bringing it to MLB. And so I think it just became a really like lucky instance for us to be filming at that time when you got to see those 5 guys especially return and be on the field together, and what that means for also like that local fan base, right? Like I think it's really interesting even watching now, like the Olympics are on, like I think it's the way that we feel when we watch our athletes go somewhere else and succeed. This was them coming home.
Shohei Ohtani is the best player in the world. He's certainly the best player on the Dodgers, but you could make the case that he did not deliver the biggest hit during their World Series win. That was Miguel Rojas.
Yeah.
He was there at the Hollywood premiere of this film in late January, and I understand this is him being introduced, and he got a nice standing ovation.
I mean, it's a very friendly room. This is in Los Angeles.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think,
I don't think it would play well in Toronto right now.
Probably not as well as it plays here, but the interesting, like, there was a joke when he came out. It's like he could have come out and said the word popcorn, and everyone would have given him a standing ovation. So, like, but it was, it's special having Miguel there to be able to introduce the movie. But at the same time, also, like, I think Miguel's hitting that game and his role speaks almost to the way that the Japanese also approach the game. Everything is built and constructed to where it has to give everyone opportunity to succeed. In basketball, you know who's getting the ball at the end of the game, usually whoever's on that team. In football, you can force a play to a wide receiver. In baseball, it's just whoever's up next. And that actually speaks a lot of the way that Japanese approach the game. It's also the way they teach the game. You'll see it in the film. We spent time with little leaguers in Osaka, and you see at age 8 and 9 the way that the game is instilled into these kids. When you then watch Ohtani play, you can draw a direct line and you see how the kind of like respectful nature, the methodology that he takes, you see it instilled at such a young age.
No doubt about it. And that's what I was going to say. We talk a lot about the Dominican and how many Dominican players we have here, and they come from these academies. But you haven't been to Japan. I mean, it is so regimented. And you understand, like you said, why these guys are conditioned the way they are and how they think and how they play the game and the respect of it. It starts at such an early age. And I was fascinated by watching a high school game. I was talking to you about that. And it's like watching a major league game on TV here. It's that revered. They were coming from all over the place. So seeing these guys all over the place, this is a cool shot. How did you come up with this stuff?
All of this is also, it's Japan. Like, that's the thing. It's like you have the ability of seeing people where they are and where they live. And, the entire film was shot in the country. We didn't go anywhere else. But it's not hard to go very far, and all of a sudden you can find baseball stories everywhere.
So what was your favorite part about being there?
Go ahead.
Combination.
We were there for a month, so we spent the entire month of March.
The
games that were played were in the middle of March, and there were 2 exhibition games ahead of time. So both the Dodgers and the Cubs each played an Ippon team. They each played the Tokyo Giants and the Hanshin Tigers, which are out of Osaka. And we then we spent the rest of the time going all around and finding the baseball stories that exist in that country.
Now, I'm going to help you out here, but you better give credit to your other source that helped you on this. Who is that sitting in our studio here that worked on this as well?
One of the producers of the film is here behind the camera, which is also my wife, who's
there you go.
Producer's wife.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Jamie had to get some credit. Jamie,
absolutely.
I'm taking care of you. I'm looking out for
A job well done. The film is called Homecoming, the Tokyo series. It's coming to movie theaters next week, February 23rd and 24th. For people that want some more information about the film, where can they go?
Go to fathomentertainment.com. That's where all the information for the film, but also all local showtimes. But also, it's going to be in over 750 theaters nationwide. So wherever you are, there will be a theater that's showing the movie on each of those days.
It's really cool. How difficult was that to land theaters at this time that we're living in?
Quite honestly, it's like Fathom has been a really good distribution partner, and they embrace the ability of putting this into the locations that people will ultimately, hopefully, be able to see it. But the interesting thing and the hard part about, I think, a movie like this also is that, like, it's hard to avoid Ohtani, right? It's hard to avoid the Dodgers, and if you come, you're going to be surprised where it's like it's not just a celebration of the Dodgers. It's hard not to see that on the surface and think that that's what it's going to be, but you come for the baseball games, but you're going to be really surprised by the characters you meet along the way.
Will this be released in Japan as well?
That's the next step, is working also as like.
Oh, congratulations.
That's huge.
We'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations on the film. I can't wait to see it. It is called Homecoming, the Tokyo series, in theaters next week. and then go to that website that Jason mentioned for more information. Congratulations on the film. Thanks for visiting.
Thanks for having me.
I'll
You got it.
Appreciate it.
最後までご覧いただきありがとうございました。今回の動画についてどういう感想を持たれましたか？ぜひコメント欄で意見や感想をお聞かせください。チャンネル登録やグッドボタンを押していただけると励みになります。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。